Welcome back to the Living Proof Recovery Podcast. We are your hosts, Brian and Evan. And tonight we're going to kind of laid back episode, see where this goes. So real quick disclaimer: we are not affiliated, nor do we represent any 12-step fellowship or program. We do not have any letters at the end of our name. No PhDs, no LCDCs, and as far as we know, no STDs.
I'm kind of a street doctor.
Yeah. I might not be a doctor, but I play one, So with that being said, we're going to get into it. Let's get to work. So I started a new job this week, and we had an interesting office debate today, and I want to kind of see where you fall on this.
All right.
I like to fucking eat, bro. Like I love me some food, right? You know this, right? And that's kind of, we were talking a minute ago how you made a life change this week, right? So this kind of,
Right.
so it's my biggest downfall on trying to stay in shape and everything is fast food. Love me some fast food. Now, before we had a meeting today, we're sitting there watching commercials on the TV's on. Arby's has a new sandwich out. It's a cheesesteak.
Gross.
Thank you. And so this other guy's like, man, I cannot wait to try this cheesesteak. I was like, man, I'm not going to Arby's for a fucking cheesesteak.
They got me on it one time.
Did they?
And I was
"This
like, I'm
just
going to try
looks-"
that. And it was so foul.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was
Right?
so, I literally threw the whole thing away.
I feel like Arby's is never a good decision, even though I like Arby's. But 5 minutes after I eat it, I feel like I'm going to get sick. Every time, I'm eating it, I'm like, this isn't too bad. But then it's always instant regret. Within 5-10 minutes later, I'm like, why'd I eat that?
Yeah, I don't mind Arby's, but they had some kind of cheesesteak before, and that's what I was like.
We're bringing it back.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It was such a hit. We're bringing it out.
And then after I tried it, I looked up the reviews on it, and everybody said the same thing that I was thinking.
Right. So it got me thinking, like I said, I love fast food, and I have go-tos, right? So I'm gonna throw some at you, right? Just tell me if this is in your goat tier, this is a go-to, it's mediocre, or it's just trash. This place is trash. I don't eat there no matter what, right? Taco Bell.
I mean, I can eat it. Not like something I would go to all the time, but I can eat it. Yeah.
Okay. Same. White Castle.
Love White Castle.
Yeah, White Castle's fire.
Love it.
Yeah, White Castle's fire. McDonald's.
Not really a big fan.
Yeah, I used to love McDonald's, man, and now it's just it doesn't really taste like food.
Yeah.
Their fries are really good.
Anytime my kids are like, let's go to McDonald's, I try my hardest to talk them out of it.
Look at the line. Oh, it's closed. Yeah. Chick-fil-A.
It's great.
It's goat
great.
status
Yeah.
as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, because if you want to eat like an asshole, you can go there and eat like an asshole. If you want to if you're watching what you're eating, you can still get something and it doesn't
Yeah.
taste like cardboard there, right? So
Right.
that's a go-to for me. Who am I? Burger King. It's trash, bro.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it'll do in a pinch,
Yeah.
but as far as there's so many better choices.
And I live in Bardstown, and the Burger King in Bardstown is by far the worst one you could ever go to.
Yeah. So KFC.
It's
Trash
you used
too,
to
bro.
love it.
I know.
I
it's
used to love it,
trash.
but it's terrible.
It's
Popeyes over KFC all day.
dude. So up and down Bardstown Road, when you're coming to my house, there's nothing but chicken places. There's Cane's, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes. There used to be a KFC, but it closed. I feel like there's one other one. Maybe not. But there's so many better choices than a KFC. I've actually went to a KFC before and them tell me they were out of chicken.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
What am I going to
We
get?
got mashed potatoes and biscuits.
Right. It's we can give you some wedges and substitute some wedges, but no, I don't know. So I don't know, I thought that was kind of a fun conversation, just kind of see how people think about stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. So, um, yeah, so we both recently have made life changes. You know, you started a new. It's been a little while now for you. You started a new role at your
Hmm.
job. How long has it been now? Has it been like 6 months?
Almost 6 months now. Yeah.
Okay. I just started a new job this week.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and um, it's never easy starting a new job. You
Yeah.
know, like
Oh yeah.
it's it's a lot. You know,
Hmm.
you go, especially if it's a field you've never worked in before.
Right.
You know, so which normally is kind of the case,
Hmm.
at least for me, it has been. It's the learning curve is tough, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes, but I'm trying to correlate this to recovery a little bit. You know, I've been going into work every day trying to think of, you know, turning it over, basically, like it's going to
Hmm.
work. Like I just had to put faith in that it's going to be all right, you
Hmm.
know, however this works out. But, and that's helped me a lot because I haven't gone into work one day this week, other than the first day, with like fear, you know,
Yeah.
and I thought that was going to be a hindrance to me until I really got acclimated. And I'm still not acclimated at all, you know, but
Mhm.
the fear is not there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because number one, where I've got some faith, and number two, the team there is very hands-on, helpful. You
Hmm.
know, people aren't just like, figure it the fuck out, asshole. You
Right.
know, it's like, hey, if you have a question, ask. And I ask a lot of fucking questions. And they're probably like, we didn't mean this many fucking questions. But so no, that's been good. So what's been going on with you this week? So we're just trying to catch up a little bit because I used to see you every day or
Right.
Monday through Friday, you
Yeah.
know, so and I don't get to see you now other
Hmm.
than, you know, something like this. So just want to kind of catch up. You know,
Yeah.
how's your week been?
I mean, good. Couple things that are kind of one thing, just two different situations that have really stuck out to me this week. Um, really involved two of my children.
Hmm.
Right. One of them, which I know we've kind of talked about it before, maybe not on here, but um, one of my boys, he's always kind of struggled as far as like doing doing certain activities, doing certain things that he wants to do, and he would get so frustrated, and um his temper and his he would throw tantrums, you know what I mean? He's 8,
Hmm.
and and then we had talked about it for my wife and I for probably close to 2 years about just how bad it was getting with his behavior and the
Hmm.
things how he acted, and we tried so many different ways of trying to correct it, and we knew like he probably needs some kind of medication, right? And we were kind of against it. I think a lot of it because of both of us in recovery. We were worried about that. We're already worried about what our kids might get into
So did
in
you
the
start him
future.
on whiskey or beer?
Right, little of both,
Right.
little both. So no, but he started this medication. I guess it's probably been about, I guess, 2 months now or so, but it has been night and day,
Hmm.
and not just his behavior, but like I was just watching him the other night, and he's 8, and young boys, they love video games, they love Legos, all
Right.
the things that he always wanted to do that it was like his brain was always going too fast to where he couldn't do those things because he
Yeah.
would get so aggravated and irritated with
Mm.
himself, and then he would just kind of freak out. And now I just watch him like playing on his PlayStation 5 and watching him do things that he was never able to do before. And then the other night we're sitting there and he's got this Lego set that he just got and he was so excited for. And I'm just waiting to jump. Dad's got to jump in and help build this thing.
Right.
And he's just going
Getting
at it.
after it.
And he's like, I'm watching him try to put it together and then it's breaking in his hands. And normally that would be
It's a wrap.
full blown
Yeah.
meltdown. And to watch him just, I could see it in his face and he wanted to, but he was able to control
Mm-hmm.
himself and slow his breathing down. And I was just like, man, watching him get to enjoy those things now that he always wanted to, but he
Yeah.
couldn't. Um, it just had me, it made me happy to see that in him and get
Right.
him get to, it's like he's thriving now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
He's always
awesome.
been so smart, and when it comes to school and stuff, he was just ahead of all of his classmates when it comes to schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he was never able to do things that like normal kids would do. Just it's like his brain wouldn't let him do it.
Right.
So just to get to see that now, it's been awesome. And then like with my daughter, it's happened twice. It happened last night, and I think it was like a week ago. Um, and then my daughter, she called me at 11 o'clock last night. She was staying the night with my sister and my niece, and she called me at 11 o'clock. Dad, I want you to come get me. I want to come home. And of course, my first initial thought was like, damn,
Fuck.
it's 11 o'clock on a
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
But then it was like, no, she's going to know that she can always call me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to show up no matter what time it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Think about it, you were possibly one more pill or one more needle or whatever away from being able to experience that.
right.
From
You
back in
know,
the day, like if you would have not got sober, you would have used one more time, you might have missed out on all of that.
yeah,
You know.
and that's what I just keep thinking about all of that, like even as far as like recovery goes, like what a blessing it really has been to be able to be there and provide and do the things for my kids that they need, and setting that, i- it's just been amazing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And those two things with my kids kind of really stuck out because it was like, yeah, I was always like physically there with my
Right.
kids, but you know, 4.5 years ago, if my daughter, I'm being honest, if my daughter would have called me at 11 o'clock at night, I would have just been like, no, it's too late. Like,
Yeah.
you wanted to stay there, you're going to stay the night now. But
Hmm.
I want her to grow up knowing, because I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, maybe she's 12. So maybe here in a few
Seven,
years,
8 years down the road.
not even that. I know I started at
Right. Yeah.
13 years old.
Right.
So I'm like, maybe she's starting in her early teenage years, she gets in situations that she's uncomfortable in.
Hmm.
I want her to
That
know that
door's
she
open.
she can call always,
Yeah.
because I probably should have called when I was when I was her
Well, for
age, and
sure. Yeah.
instead kept myself in uncomfortable situations. And that's what's happened twice in the last week. She was just uncomfortable,
Hmm.
and instead of making her, she knew she could call me and I would be there.
I mean, think about how far we've come.
Hmm.
Like we were supposed to be humble, but just a little brag on us. Like we've came so fucking far, dude. Like it's insane how far we've come. Like from being selfish fucking assholes.
Hmm.
Like you said, I would have had the same reaction. One of my kids would have called and be like, no, or just not answer the phone, or I can't come get you because I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Or go get them drunk.
Yeah.
And do something stupid, and never be present, never
Hmm.
be, I mean, I was always physically there,
Yeah.
but I wasn't fucking there,
Hmm.
not in the way they didn't have the dad that they deserved to have, I wasn't there. But today we get to be like, that's one of the things that, I mean, we say stuff like that a lot, but I don't think we really give the credit that it deserves. Because I think not that we take it for granted, but after a while, it just starts to become business as usual. And we don't realize sometimes how far we've actually come,
Hmm.
until we kind of look back and reflect on it and go, oh, wow. Or
Hmm.
something will happen where your kid will call you,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, they're actually calling me.
Hmm.
I've went through the same thing with my kids, like, hey, I need to talk. It's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
calling me to talk,
Right.
like you're not calling your mom or you're not calling your friends or you're not calling
Hmm.
your grandparents, like you're calling me.
Yeah.
Like that's a shift,
Yeah.
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 Because I've set that precedent to where it's okay. Like it's like an open door policy. Like if you want to call me, you're not in trouble. Like
Hmm.
let's talk about it. I'll help you come up with a solution for whatever. If you just need someone to hear it, or if you want advice,
Hmm.
or suggestions, I'm here. And that door is open for my children,
Yeah.
and that's a huge thing, man.
Yeah.
Like that's huge because I didn't have that as a kid growing up. It's not that I didn't have it. Number one, I didn't explore it,
Hmm.
but a lot of things were just kind of different. And
It
it's not
was.
that my parents were any less of parents. It's just that that was just kind of the way
Yeah.
we just didn't talk about stuff. Like that's not what we did, unless something got brought. But I wasn't going to do that because I was afraid I was going to get punished or I was
Hmm.
going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to call,
Right.
and I'm going to risk getting a DUI
Hmm.
or whatever it is, instead of calling. So, man, that's really good. Like that really sets things up, for your daughter and you and your relationship going
Yeah.
forward for situations that probably will come up. I
Hmm.
don't, it doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol, but like there's going to be times where she needs somebody,
Hmm.
and that's really good that she has somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Because when I was younger, I didn't. Like I said, I probably should have picked up the phone and called home a lot,
Yeah.
and I never did. You know what I mean? And then I ended up in criminal situations and
Hmm.
whatever the case may be, when even just going with the flow with the crowd.
Yeah.
So that's all I could think about. Even last night driving home, and she was apologizing.
Hmm.
I'm like, don't stop. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Like, you can call me anytime.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So it was really cool. Um, but no, other than that, um, it's just been the usual work and family and
Yeah.
home. You know what I mean? So,
So funny thing happened to me on my first day. And so we have this little meeting. It's kind of a get to know everybody deal, right? There's another girl that started also. So we're having a little meeting, and our boss is just kind of explaining how things go. And, everyone's having everyone on the team introduce themselves. So we're kind of going around in a circle, and I'm the last one. So, right, everyone's like, hey, my name's so and so, and it almost came out, man. I was like, my name's Brian. I'm an alcoholic. Like it was so close because it was so much like a meeting
right.
that I really had to catch myself because I was just going to go full blown. I'm in an
Mhm.
AA meeting. My name's Brian. I got a home group. I
Yeah.
got a sponsor. I caught myself. I was like, my name's Brian. Oh, stop. We're not in an AA meeting. I don't need to
Right.
do that. Right. I don't need to announce that right now. Now, if anybody wants to know, I'll tell them. But it's
Yeah.
like, I was like, man, you fucking idiot. Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
I was wondering if that had ever come up since in your first week there. I didn't know.
It hasn't. It came up in my interview.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
came up in my interview, and I actually had one of those moments, right, where I just put trust in my higher power, and I had to have some
Mhm.
integrity, because I don't remember exactly the way the conversation went, but my boss, he was, interviewing me, and um, I forget what I forget how it got brought up, but basically what I said was, no, he was asking me why I've left other jobs.
Mhm.
And I told him, I was like, well, I just refuse to settle, you know. I was like, I decided about 5 years ago that I'm just not going to settle for mediocrity or whatever. And he was like, oh, what prompted that? And I was like, fuck. I was like, well, I told him, I said, are you somebody that values integrity? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I'm going to be fully transparent and honest with you. And I was like, I'm a recovered alcoholic and drug addict. So I was like, I understand this might affect me getting this job. I said, but I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to be honest with you. And I was like, you said you value that. So I'm going to show you that I can do that. And that's what I'm about. So I told him, I was like, I got sober. And since that's happened, that my outlook on things is just totally different. I'm not willing to just settle for the bare minimum to get by in life.
Yeah.
And he was like, wow. He was like, I really admire you telling me that. And I was like,
Mhm.
of course you do, because you value employees that are honest. It's like,
Right.
so that was kind of the turning point there where I was like, I can be honest with this guy and I can get this job based on a lie, or I can just put it out there and see what happens and
Yeah.
trust. And that's what I did. And, and he offered me the job, so I was like, oh, wow, this
Yeah.
thing actually works
Yeah.
when you practice it,
Right. Right.
so that
Yeah.
could have went really bad.
Yeah.
But, my thought process on that was, if it goes really bad, do I really want to work for this person if I got to hide who I am? No,
Yeah.
I don't. So
Right.
fuck it.
Yeah. I actually had today at work, and obviously, like all my coworkers know that I'm in recovery.
Mhm.
I'm not ashamed to talk about it, or because a lot of people ask me about it. But even today, I had a customer at work, and this poor lady has been through the ringer for 3 weeks, and extended warranties on vehicles are bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of them are so difficult to deal with, and I've been trying to get this lady's repairs, taken care of by this warranty company for almost 3 weeks, and it's just been the runaround. And then finally today, things start going in the right direction, and we were able to come to a resolution, and she's just like, "Oh my God, thank you." She's like, "I know you've been through it with him," and she's been talking to him and arguing, and she says, "What's your favorite drink? I'm gonna bring you a bottle on Monday." And all I could do was just kind of chuckled a little bit, and
Big Red.
yeah, and I just told I just kind of chuckled, and I said, "Oh, I appreciate the offer, but I was like, you don't need to bring me anything." And then she was still going, like, "No, you've done a lot for me here. What's something you and your wife like to drink?" And so I just told her, I said, "Ma'am," I said, I really appreciate it. I said, "But I've been sober for 4.5 years now, so that's probably not a great idea
Right.
for me." And I'm like laughing about it, and she was like, "Oh, well, congratulations." Like, she's like apologizing. "I didn't
I'm so
know."
sorry.
I'm like, "Ma'am, you don't like, I'm like, it's
Right.
fine." But, I guess that's how I am, though. If it gets brought up in the situation like that, I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to just
It's so
tell
funny how people's
somebody.
reaction to that, once you tell them, they're so apologetic, and they think that, like, they are going to cause you to drink. They're
Right.
like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry."
Yeah.
Like I've had a couple people like offer me a joint or something. Like, I'll be somewhere and they're smoking. Like, "You want to hit this?" I'm like, "No, I'm in recovery." Like, "Dude, I'm so sorry." Like, "No, it's okay. Like, smoke
Right.
your weed. Like, it's
Right.
dude. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that, man. I'm so. It's like, it's all good. Like, it's fine. Like, I'll be
Yeah.
okay. I don't know. That kind of makes me think of something that I was thinking about this earlier. I was listening to. I was out on my lunch break and I was listening to a podcast, and it was talking about kratom,
Mm.
and it was talking about basically how it's putting people into comas and it's really wrecking people's lives, and you can buy it at a gas station,
Yeah.
right? And what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think they
Which
should,
part?
the fact that it's available to buy?
I personally believe that, I know they passed the law here at least in Kentucky recently, where this 7-OH product is banned or whatever. But you can still buy other forms of kratom. I believe that it should just all be banned.
Why?
Man,
I'm like 50-50 on it. That's why I'm asking.
because number one, like, yeah, I mean, it's like a synthetic opiate, right?
Right. Do you think
Um,
alcohol should be banned?
I mean, that's if
Because
you're
it's the
looking
same
at it,
argument, right? Like, you can buy
it
any store
is,
you walk in, you
yes.
can buy
I guess
alcohol.
it is, but I don't know. I mean, that's true as well.
I think the
I just know. I
education on
think
it, the way it's
it's.
marketed, is different though.
That's what I was about to say. I think it's the way that they market kratom as this all natural, and I get it. It is
non-addictive.
derived from a plant. I get
Right.
it. You're
So
right.
is
It is.
heroin.
Yeah, and right.
Right.
And the way they market it, and it's you don't know. It's so unregulated.
hmm
There, you don't know what's really in each whatever form of it you're
Right.
getting, whether it's a powder, a drink, a pill. Like, it's not regulated.
Right.
Um, I know people who have overdosed on it. I know people that have overdosed and died from kratom.
Right.
And a lot of people don't believe that, but that's fact. That's the
Yeah.
reality of it. And I get it. People can say the same thing about, well, people drink too much alcohol and get alcohol poisoning and die,
Yeah.
or wreck their car and die. And that is true. But alcohol is at least, it's not marketed the way kratom is put out there.
I think that's the difference, right? Because I was thinking about it and I was like, well, it's not, it's really on the individual,
Mhm.
right? To choose to buy it or not, right? Like no one's forcing you to buy it. But if you don't know going in what the ramifications are of using it, and then you get addicted to it, and then it's sold on the counter everywhere, it's kind of a dick move. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, so,
Yeah.
like, I can see both sides of that argument of like it should not be available to buy because it's wrecking people's lives. I agree with that. But also at the same time, it's like alcohol is wrecking people's lives too. And
Mhm.
it's totally acceptable. Well, I guess the difference is it doesn't wreck everyone's life who does it, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
I don't think casual people that just casually drink alcohol, they're not casually doing kratom. Does that make sense? What
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And I know there are a lot of people out there who put up the argument of, well, I use the kratom for my pain.
Right.
And I know there are people that do that, and I don't know how they use it, but eventually, like, you have to, you got to buy more of it because your
Yeah.
normal
Your
amount doesn't
tolerance,
work.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And
for sure.
you have to keep going, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. I've seen alcohol ruin a lot of lives. I've seen kratom ruin a lot of lives. But it is,
So I feel like you could make the same argument for heroin, right? Heroin's not available, yet people still buy it. So if
right.
kratom isn't available at a gas station, are people still going to buy it?
I doubt it,
I think probably not
because
if
your
they
supply of
haven't
that's
used
going to
it.
run out way quicker. They would just go back to heroin.
Yeah. Right.
It would be the easiest solution there.
Yeah, I mean,
And are the death rates?
I'm not saying it should be sold at a gas station.
Right.
I'm just a conversation, like
Yeah,
I can see both arguments for it or against it.
right.
There's really not a good one for it, really.
I'm not saying it's a good, but I know certain people who have used it and they got off of opiates by using kratom. So they say, they used it and then through the withdrawal. But
Yeah.
does that make it right?
No.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally just,
Because at the end of the day, the substance isn't really the problem,
no, it's not.
right?
It's the individual, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
But it
but
probably creates a lot of people that turn into addicts because they don't
right.
know and they go to use that
Mhm.
thinking it's something that it's not,
Right.
and that's where the
But
way it's marketed
if
is shitty.
I guess, like I said, the way they market it and how unregulated that it is.
Yeah. See,
Because
alcohol is
it's
regulated.
no different. Right. Alcohol's regulated.
If it's 80 proof vodka, it's 80 proof vodka.
Right.
You
But this kratom stuff that you can go and buy at every fucking gas station and liquor store, it's not regulated. It's no different than going and buying a bag of fentanyl or heroin from a
Right.
street dealer. It's really no
Yeah.
different than that. You don't know what you're buying on the street anymore.
Right.
You don't know what you're buying when you're buying the kratom.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I remember when I was at Landmark, there was this young guy that was in there, and I had him pegged for meth. You
Mhm.
know, that's what we do. You know, it's like
Yeah.
somebody walks in, it's like, this guy's probably on crack, or this guy's an alcoholic, or whatever. I had him pegged for meth, and we're sitting down, we're playing chess, and I was like, what's your drug of choice? You know, and he was like, kratom. I was like, first thought in my head was, you pussy, you know, like,
Right.
because I didn't know, like, it was fairly new,
Mhm.
and I had never done it. And I just thought it was something that people use to get off of opiates. I didn't realize that it was addicting, and, I didn't know,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Now looking back, I'm like, well, that was kind of shitty of me, like I didn't say that to him, but I was thinking, like, so, I mean, even before, like, all the different versions of it that you can get now, like, it was causing people problems, like,
Yeah.
from the rip,
Mhm.
like, right off the bat, like, people are struggling with this thing,
Yeah.
and it's kind of shitty that it hasn't been regulated,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. The fact that you can buy it at a gas station is kind of, the way it's
Mhm.
just sitting up there, like
Yeah.
it's no big deal,
I
you
mean,
know.
I don't. I've told the story on here. The
Yeah,
first time I ever done it was by complete accident, and
yeah,
I was a couple years sober, and it was sold to me at a gas station as an energy drink while I was looking for give me the strongest energy shot you got, and that's what he
right.
was like. Oh, people love this,
Yeah, but you also
and
can't use that as an excuse to keep going back and using it.
right,
Right? The fact
yeah,
that, well, it's at the gas station, so
yeah,
what do you want me to do?
yeah,
I'm a victim, what do you want me to do?
hmm
It's like, well, no, you can't just
yeah,
blame it on the fact that they sell it.
right,
At some point you got to realize this is a problem, and you can't go through life just saying, well, I'm never going in a gas station again,
yeah.
because good luck with that.
Mhm.
That's not happening.
All I know is I've tried to use it during like opiate withdrawal.
Hmm.
It didn't help. It didn't help.
Yeah, probably wasn't good enough,
Yeah, it didn't help.
Oh man.
But,
Man, the days of opiate withdrawal. God, man, it sucks so bad.
yeah.
And I'm just so thankful that I don't have to live the way that I used to live.
Mhm.
Mentally, physically, spiritually, all of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I know
God, it's so bad.
my last withdrawal when I went into treatment was so bad. And like I've went through severe withdrawals before, but this
Hmm.
one was so much worse. And the shit I was using, and then they're giving me the Subutex taper, and it was almost like the shit on the streets wasn't even touched by the Subutex.
Right.
You know, it was insane. It was so bad, and I don't want to forget that.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to forget that. Because a lot of the times in the past I would,
Hmm.
right? I would start, I'm good. I've got this, that type of thing in my
Right.
head. But I try to remember all of it. I don't want to, I don't want to, we don't shut the door on it,
Yeah.
right? Like, I need to remember what that felt like. I
Yeah.
need to
And we don't
remember those
regret it
shitty
either.
moments.
Right. And
Yeah.
the key part, one of the key factors of that is that we don't regret the past. So what that means is I can use my past as um, a vehicle to help somebody else
Yeah.
today. So that I feel like that's why I went through that is to
Hmm.
prepare me to help the next guy, and we can use that, and that's a good thing.
Hmm.
I was thinking about it the other day. I was going through a walk through the neighborhood, and I grew up in the neighborhood that I live in, and the first house I bought was in this neighborhood. And whenever I go for a walk, I'll walk past that first house that I bought, and I have a lot of bad memories from that house, right? Like a lot of my hardest emotional and mental times were when I was living there. And I was, I don't know why I always think about this one time where I'd gotten into it with my first wife. We got into it over something. It was like every day. but
Mhm.
we got into it over something, and I used to go for a walk to clear my head, right? Because I was just like not in a good place, right? So I would go for just a quick walk around the neighborhood just to try to clear my head and think through things. And I remember one time in particular, I'm walking around and I'm trying to come up with any reason not to kill myself, right? Like I'm walking, like trying to talk myself out of there's a reason why you don't need to kill yourself. Like I was just dead set on like I can't take this life anymore. Where there's the drama there, the drugs and the alcohol and just all of it together, just spiritually sick. Just like I can't do it anymore. Like at that point, and this was a long time ago, right? But the alcohol wasn't always working, you know. So it
Mhm.
was even starting that early to not work anymore. But I couldn't not do it at that point, you know. And I was just thinking, I was like, man, my life is so much different today. You know, like I had all kinds of things to live for, like, but I couldn't see it,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like the kind of things that I would tell myself was like, no, you have kids, like you can't off yourself, you
Mhm.
know. And it's not that I wanted to die; it was like I just could not live. I did not want to live that way anymore, and I had probably 12 to 15 more years of it.
Mhm.
You know, like
Yeah.
if that's a long time
Yeah.
of just being done,
Mhm.
you know, like, but I didn't know a way out. And I didn't even think there was a way out. I just thought I was destined to live this pitiful life, you know. And looking back now, I can see that God was there, but I didn't want, I couldn't I had like walked away from that, you
Mhm.
know, and but I could see now that looking back now when I sponsor someone and they're like, man, you know, I went through this horrible divorce and I went through all these suicide attempts and couldn't stop drinking and you know all this stuff and like I can go, yeah, man, me too. Like I've been there. Like I can actually relate
Yeah.
and say like I know exactly where your head's at right now. Like it doesn't have to be like that anymore, right? Like you can wake up one day soon and not feel like that. And usually when you tell people that they're like, "Really?" Like because they've lived that way for so long that they don't think that there's a way out.
Well, yeah, and because I used to think the same way. Like
Mhm.
these people are full of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just something that we have you have to experience. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? To see it for yourself that
Yeah.
this thing is legit
Yeah.
and it does work if you're willing to do it. And if you're willing to make some changes and sacrifices, that this thing does work.
That's why we have to carry a message of depth and weight.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be so it says like frothy emotional appeal seldom
Mhm.
suffices, right? Like I had all kinds of people in my life giving me some appeal. You know, oh man, like if you could just, why don't you just quit for her? Or why don't you just quit for me? Or why don't you just quit for your kids? You know, if you loved your kids, you'd quit.
Mhm.
Like none of that stuff ever rang true to me because it was like, fuck you. It was like, I do love my wife. I do love my kids, you know, but they couldn't come at me with that same relatability with depth. And there's no
Yeah.
depth and weight to that. And the first several times that I tried AA, the message I was getting didn't have any depth and weight to it. The
Mhm.
only thing I was being told was keep coming back,
Yeah.
you know, or just go to another meeting, man. When you're struggling like that, just go to another meeting. There's no depth and weight to that,
Mhm.
you know. But when somebody sat down across from me and was like, look, I've been where you've been and I know how to get out of that. Here's what I did. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, like there's actually depth and weight to that.
Yeah.
And there's you're laying out a program of action for me. Something if I you mean to tell me if I do this, then this will happen. Oh, okay. That goes a lot further with me than, hey man, just go to a meeting,
Mhm.
you know, because that doesn't tell me shit.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't tell me shit. That just means that I go in a meeting and hope to hear something I need to
Mhm.
hear and hope that it sinks in. because, and it probably doesn't. At least this is just my experience, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm just sitting in there listening to somebody talk to a whole room, it might not hit me that way. But if someone's sitting down face to face with me, can say the same exact thing, then it's probably there's going to be some depth to it. Like, dude, I was the same way, man. I attempted suicide, or I was in this horrible relationship and thought that, I was destined to just be alone or just be unhappy my whole life. And now my life's on fire. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like my mom used to tell me all the things that I
Right.
hear, even in AA, but it didn't carry the same, like you said, depth and weight
Yeah.
that it does coming from another alcoholic who I see, okay, they've been down the same path as me, but now I see what this life gave them
Right.
and what they have now and how they carry themselves now. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, this is what my mom was talking about for all those years.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, Mom.
It's not that what's being said is different.
Right.
It's who's carrying it.
Right.
It's like, because if you haven't been where I've been, I'm probably not going to hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah.
It's just the way it goes,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But,
Yeah.
so we got to have some depth and weight, and we got to carry a message. I've been where you've been, but I'm not there anymore. I did see something on Facebook today, and I like somewhat agreed with it and I somewhat didn't. It's this whole thing about how once we have some recovery, that we should no longer refer to ourselves as addicts or alcoholics. And I was just kind of like, because it's saying basically what the argument was is that you're still identifying as that old person, which is not true. Because I feel like that's spoken by someone who doesn't understand. And the reason why we do that is, number one, is so that we don't forget that, because we know we're still alcoholic, whether or not we've recovered or not, we're still alcoholic. We still have that physical, allergy to alcohol. We can't, once an alcoholic, always an. I can't start drinking now because I'm 5 years sober and not experience all those things. Right. So, but I did agree with the part that was saying, like, that doesn't define you.
Right.
That doesn't define who you are. That's not all that you are.
Yeah, we're so much more than that. I'm assuming that's probably what they were trying to get at.
Yeah.
But I'm never not gonna be an alcoholic.
Right. Yeah.
But I
that's
am
not
so
your
much
whole identity, though.
No, I'm so much more than that now.
For sure.
So
And you were before.
Right.
But it's just, I don't know, man. I think I'm here soon. I think I'm going to pull the plug on social media. I think I don't think it's good for me. Like, I look at stuff and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it just pisses me off. Like, why am I even looking at this shit?
Right.
Like, I don't have to open up my phone and scroll through it for just waste time, and look at stuff that I don't need to see, and get pissed off about someone's opinion or whatever. It's like, I don't even know this person, but I'll look at stuff and I'm like, this aggravates me. Like, this really irritates me, because a lot of it's ignorance, or stigma or whatever. And I don't know. I think I just need to get to the point where it's like, you know what? It's my fault if I keep looking at it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have to keep looking at it, but I do.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those habits that I've built up that
got to break your algorithm.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to start searching some other stuff. I don't know what. Maybe have Nate start sending me some more midget porn stuff or something. He used to send me some of the weirdest stuff, man. I'm sure you probably got it too. Just weird shit. Like, why are you sending me this, bro? But I don't know. Life in recovery, man. It's different today. It really is. And if you're somebody that thinks that life can't be different, it can.
Yeah.
And this can be true if you're sober. So you've been sober 3 years, and you feel stuck, or, you
Mhm.
know, nothing's changing in your life, that's probably because you're holding on to some character defect, or, you're not changing what you're doing,
Yeah.
So, I think that's a big part of it is, we have to do something different,
Mhm.
and for
Yeah.
me, just not drinking is not enough.
Yeah.
Just that's me personally, that's not the goal
Yeah.
today. It's not to stay sober.
Mhm.
Like, if I, of course, that's a goal,
Yeah.
but that's not, I don't wake up every day and just think like, I have to stay sober today.
Yeah.
What I need to do today is I need to live life today, and I need to play the role that I'm assigned today and try
Mhm.
to help somebody.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, then I'll stay sober.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty easy.
Mhm.
At a certain point, it gets where it's like pretty easy
Yeah.
to stay sober if you're just doing the right things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all you have to do.
Yeah. And I know, for me, another thing was 4th of July,
Hmm.
last week. Um, it literally reminded me, I was like, man, I used to pray for the life I have today.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
used to, and, it's 4th of July, it's hot as shit. I'm working in the yard, you know, the wife and kids are out back playing in the water and in the little in the pool, and I'm I'm mowing and pulling weeds and doing all this stuff, and then I'm on the grill, grilling hot dogs and burgers for everybody, and I literally was just sitting there, and I'm
I
like,
didn't get a
man,
plate.
no, you didn't. You were with Maddie.
That's true.
But I was just like, man, I used to like literally used to pray for this.
Hmm.
And then to take my kids out with the neighbors, and we had almost a 3 hour long fireworks show for the kids, and to see how much, even my son, how much he was finally into it this year and he loved it. And I was like, man, this is what it's about.
Hell yeah.
I was like, this is what it's about, so it
Hmm.
was awesome. So
Yeah. What's it say in the big? We are not a glum lot.
yeah.
We actually, that was one of the biggest misconceptions I had about sobriety is, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be fun.
I'm just gonna do shit that I'm always supposed to do.
Yeah. Like
I was
a
supposed
lot of
to.
the same things that I do now
Yeah,
or
like
did then, just
yeah,
not high or drunk.
right.
Like, how am I going to play golf
Yeah,
without drinking? Like, oh, you actually play well, or I mean, just so many things like that. Like, what are people going to think of me? Is anyone going to like me? Or like,
Mhm.
who cares?
Yeah,
If they don't like me, then they're probably assholes
yeah,
because I'm an easy person to like, so fuck them. I mean, that's just some of the reasons that I would come up with, like why I probably, or not the reasons, the reservations,
Mhm.
like what if this, what if that, what if this? It's like, who cares? Like my life was so much fun before I got sober. My life was miserable. I'm
Right.
suicidal, and I'm fighting tooth and nail to hang on to that suicidal life.
Yeah,
Like, just, I don't know, man. Like, I wish I could just go back in time and just be like, listen to yourself.
yeah,
Like, listen to the things you're saying. Like, they make no sense. No sense. But
yeah.
in the moment, it makes perfect sense. And that's sometimes it's hard to see
Mhm.
in time. So, but yeah, that thing you said about what you have now, you used to pray for, that's so true. Like,
Yeah.
I remember, when I was in treatment, there was, we were in some group or something, and the guy leading the group said that, and he was like, just because somebody was in there complaining, like, which was an anomaly in treatment, right? People don't ever complain, uh, they were complaining about something trivial, and it was like, he's like, dude, you were homeless 2 weeks ago. You're getting fed, you're getting, like, have a little gratitude,
Mhm.
and it hit me. I wasn't the one complaining, but it hit me because I was guilty of it too. And I was like, wow. It's like, he's right. Like, I was just praying 2 weeks ago just for another chance. And now I have one, but I can get ungrateful really quick because whatever reason. Like I come up with 1,000 reasons to not be grateful,
Yeah.
but they're all BS because I have so much to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
I have sobriety, I have a marriage, I have children, I have a job, I have running water. Like I so many things to be grateful for, and being able to actually appreciate them now, like, is just a huge deal,
Yeah.
and it's a huge deal. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah, just quick recap. We just catching up. You got anything else on your mind? Anything you want to talk about?
No, no, I think I'm good for this one.
All right, cool. All right, so with that, we'll wrap it up. So if you like this episode, please like, follow, subscribe, whatever the deal is, whatever you can do to help us. We greatly appreciate everybody's support. So next week we're recording, and it'll be 1 year, our 1 year anniversary of doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So we just want to kind of give everybody a shout out, that supported us along the way. We couldn't do it without, everybody's support. So we appreciate you. Thank you. And with that, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.